What's up, Roos? Welcome to another weekly edition of Roo News. I'm Henry Gamber.
And I'm Abby Higginbotham. We're here to bring you news from around campus and Kansas City every Tuesday. This weekend, UMKC College Dems hosted the spring convention for the College Democrats of Missouri, bringing members from around chapters around the state to UMKC. During the two-day event, organizations like KC Tenants and the Sunrise Movement taught workshops, and attendees heard from Missouri politicians like Attorney General candidates Elad Gross and Rich Finnegan. CDMO also held elections for executive officer positions in the organization. Two UMKC students, Mason McGregor and Marine Ansari, won spots on the board. We spoke to UMKC Dems President Bella Vadavicki and freshman Ansel Herrera Garcia to find out more.
So today and tomorrow, College Democrats of Missouri is hosting their convention here at UMKC, and so it's going to be approximately 100 College Democrats from the state of Missouri. I believe there's 9 or 10 different schools that will be showing up, and we'll be going through a couple of workshops, having speakers, generally voting on our Constitution and our new membership board for the next year. Conventions are kind of new. It started last year, but we usually alternate schools. So last year was hosted by Mizzou, and then we had our fall kickoff event, which was our spring event, hosted at UMSL, and then we're here. So it just depends, and we try to rotate it as much as possible so that way we can reach all corners of Missouri so that other schools can make it.
I really want to get to meet the other people from the schools coming with their College Democrat programs. I think it's really cool that we have this program that'll bring everybody together since we're just common-minded people. So I really hope we have a great conversation today.
A UMKC student was assaulted last week on the Hospital Hill campus. The student was walking on the south side of the UMKC School of Medicine when a man punched them in the side of the head. The attack occurred for no apparent reason, according to UMKC police. The assault is a reminder for all students to pay attention when walking at night.
This last Wednesday, UMKC held a wacky 90s theme night for the men's basketball home game. As always, Roo News was on the scene and talked to the Kansas City Athletics marketing manager, Hope McMorrow, for more.
I think it's really fun. It's always a great atmosphere at men's basketball, and to put a theme with it, I think brings it a little more fun, something different that maybe students haven't experienced before. So we're really glad to have students here, our regular fans here, season ticket holders here. It's a great night, so we're having a lot of fun. I think something that's great about our team is that they really drive and they push really hard. They really try to be aggressive in the paint and have great defense. So I think it's really going to be something that we're going to see during the WAC Vegas tournament. It's coming up really soon. We only have a couple more weeks of basketball here in Swinney, but it's going to be really exciting to see how the tournament ends up. And I'm really excited for both teams, and I feel like the programs are just going to grow and grow. So it's an exciting time.
SGA elections have kicked off, and candidates have already announced their plans to run for office. Joining us in studio is presidential candidate for the Roos for Reform ticket, Brandon Henderson. Thank you for joining us, Brandon.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, what made you decide to run for SGA president?
So I took this last fall semester off because I was going through basic training for the Army National Guard. And when I came back to school this spring, I noticed that a lot of the problems that existed on campus during my first 2 years were still an issue. And so the question that I asked myself was, what can I do to help make this university better for my fellow students? And the answer to that question was to run for SGA president, and that's why I'm doing it.
All right, and what do you think qualifies you to run for SGA president?
I think I have the most important qualification there is. I'm a student that cares about my fellow students, and I really think that's the only thing that matters. But if we want to talk about experience, I've worked as an intern for the Associated Students of the University of Missouri, and I've also served as the chapter president. So I have a lot of experience with the legislative side of things and like the Missouri General Assembly and higher education funding. Like I know what that process looks like. On campus, I've done a lot of work with the food pantry. My freshman year, I helped implement a program that allows students to donate their meal swipes to the food pantry on campus. That way, if you're a student who doesn't have a meal plan but you want to eat at the cafeteria, you can get a few swipes from the food pantry and you can join your friends at the cafeteria. And then finally, I've also worked on campus to help make voter registration easier. I worked with different student groups on campus to bring TurboVote into the mainstream. TurboVote is a program that lets you register people to vote online, and it lets you sign them up for election reminders to make sure they know when the election is happening. So big picture, like I care about the people I go to school with, but I also have a lot of experience and involvement on campus as well.
Nice. All right. Well, so the name of your ticket is Roos Reform.
Mm-hmm.
What do you plan on reforming?
So there's kind of two approaches here with this question. So on campus, we want to change the way that SGA does its business, right? In my conversations with students on campus since I've gotten back, I've been going to all the SGA meetings myself. I do not expect these 16,000 students on UMKC's campus to all make that commitment to go to those meetings in person, right? And so I talk to people who aren't able to attend those meetings, and I ask them, like, do you know what's going on in SGA right now? Do you know that we're potentially getting ready to vote on a fee increase for students? Do you know that, this is going on or that's going on? And they don't know. And so I want to change that, and I want SGA to be more accessible and accountable to students.
Okay, and what is the one thing you want students to know about you?
The one thing I want students to know about me, I make TikToks and they're pretty funny. Okay, no, seriously though. If there's one thing I want students to know about me, it's that I care, right? When I got to college my freshman year, I didn't really have a whole lot of money. And I had to take out loans that first year. And that experience taught me a lot about the struggles that a lot of students go through on campus to make ends meet, There are studies that show about a third of college students are food insecure. Roughly the same ratio are housing insecure, meaning they don't have, stable housing. There's a lot of rampant poverty amongst college students that I think has been kind of accepted as normal. And so I guess there's one thing that I want students to know about me. It's that I'm not going to accept things for the way they are. I'm going to do everything in my power to make them better.
Thank you so much for coming. We hope to hear a lot more from the SGA race as it continues.
Thank you for inviting me. It's going to be fun, so stay tuned.
That's it for our top stories today. Next, we go to sports correspondent Sarah Battle.
Thanks, guys. First up, Kansas City men's basketball team squeezed by California Baptist on Wednesday night at Swaney Center 69-63. The Roos were led by forward Jordan Giles, who piled up 17 points on 7-11 from the field. Kansas City women's basketball team came out unscathed against California Baptist on Wednesday night by the score 83-81. Senior guard Erica Mattingly put on a clinic with 23 points and added 7 rebounds off the glass. The Roos found themselves down by double digits after the first quarter, but were able to claw their way back into the contest right before half before taking a lead heading into the fourth. Coming up this Saturday, the women's basketball team will travel to Chicago to take on the Chicago State Cougars at 1 p.m. The men's basketball team will host Chicago State at 7 p.m. on Saturday at Swaney Center. That's your Kansas City Sports Update. I'm Sarah Battle with Roo News. Back to you, Abby and Henry.
Thanks, Sarah. That's all we have for you today. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Roo News. I'm Abby Higginbotham.
And I'm Henry Gamber. We'll see you next Tuesday.